Welcome to the channel. My name is Joe. This is JSPCs, and I am not here to waste your time. So let's go ahead and get into this real quick. We're going to be going over the OneXPlayer Mini Pro. So the little brother, I guess, to the X2 Mini Pro. It's already released on Indiegogo, and this is a 6800U 680M graphics inside of this device. This came out, a couple months, I shouldn't say a couple, around 7 months after the Steam Deck, give or take a couple days there. And yeah, I mean, it's a little bit better than a Steam Deck. So yeah, let's go ahead and attach a eGPU to this device. And we're going to be going over some pretty CPU intensive games and yeah, see what this thing can do. I'm really looking at, those more esports titles. A lot of people are going to be testing Cyberpunk and things like that, especially you're probably not even going to see a test for a device like this these days. So yeah, we're going to go ahead and get into those really quick. I do want to show you my eGPU setup and then go over a couple rules. We'll get straight into those benchmarks. All right, here we are with the OneXPlayer Mini Pro. We do have the Minis Forum DEG2 and the 9070 XT attached to the eGPU dock. It is the Thunderbolt 5 dock. This device, like every other, is only Thunderbolt 4 or USB 4, and so we're not going to be getting the best connection out of it, but the Thunderbolt 5 should help here a little bit, compared to a regular Thunderbolt 4 dock. Do not mind my cables. I know it's messy. I am going to work on that, but I'm really trying to push these videos out. I just moved everything around. So yeah, we got cables and junk going just about everywhere. This room is a mess, but I really want to get this video out. So let's go ahead and get into the rules, and then we're going to move straight into those benchmarks. But I got a couple things I want to go over really quick. All right, let's go ahead and go over these rules. So as you can see on screen, we're going to go 1440p to start. We're going to try to hit at least 120 FPS. If we can't do that, we can scale back to 1080p. If it's performing fine, at least what I would deem to be playable, then we'll keep it at 1440p, even if maybe we're a little bit lower. But we can attempt to use some upscaling, or dial back the native resolution a little bit. We're gonna go to Counter-Strike 2 first, then Valorant, Apex, Rainbow Six, Rocket League, Trackmania, which is a pretty cool one, Marvel Rivals, and then Escape from Tarkov. So 2 games in here are really hard to run. That would be Trackmania and Escape from Tarkov, especially at higher frame rates. So I'm, really curious how those do. And again, like I said, really quick, I know I mentioned it before, but I'm testing these games, something that you don't normally see elsewhere. You might see 1 or 2 sprinkled in, but this is going to be for every device in this series. And yeah, I'm pretty excited about that, especially since you only see, Black Myth Wukong, Cyberpunk, God of War, things like that in other benchmarking or eGPU videos docked to a monitor videos. So yeah, I hope you guys enjoy, and let's go ahead and hop straight into these benchmarks. All right, here we are on the Counter-Strike 2 benchmark, and don't look at those frames there. That is not accurate at all. We are looking for, like I said, 1440p, 120 FPS. That is not really going to be an issue on Counter-Strike 2, which is pretty cool, because when this game came out, it was way less optimized than it is now. It's still not that great, but for a older handheld and an eGPU, right now we're looking at 160. That's not too bad. Definitely frame dropping here down. We even dropped into the 80s, while we were shooting. But honestly, 160, 150 FPS on average here, that's pretty solid. We'll go ahead and go through at least one more round just to get, a little bit better of an average It's not like going against bots. It really took too long there. Obviously, we're going to get a little bit of a lower frame rate if we're actually in a deathmatch. There's going to be more people in there. And if you're inside of a game, when you're actually, executing a site, you're going to have more smokes up. You're going to be, in this case, smoking jungle, stairs, CT, things like that. Flashes going off. Yeah. Oh my goodness, look at that spray. Lord help me. There's going to be a lot more going on. So you're going to see a little bit lower FPS on average if you actually take this into game. So just, keep that in mind. But it shouldn't be that bad. So we're sitting at 157 here. I actually may let it play out just a little bit more. Just to, really see if this is going to move. I think it's pretty stable, but, it's a bot round. This shouldn't take too much longer. 158 on average. There was no, this is voiceover, there was no screen tearing or anything like that when we were actually testing this. So considering stuttering, screen tearing, nothing was really going on here. I was really, really excited and happy with this performance. But yeah, we're sitting at 156. This round is basically over. So let's go ahead and hop into Valorant. All right, here we are on Valorant. This is going to be 1440p. I'm just changing my resolution here. I was looking for 144 hertz, didn't see it, so we did just go ahead and swap to 1440p on 300 hertz. And yeah, basically all low settings here. So let's go ahead and move into the gameplay. All right, we are now in a death match, and yeah, we're already seeing lower FPS here. There is quite a bit more going on in this game. It is a death match. It's still, the average amount for a team, but having all of, as you can see, I flashed myself. I don't play this game, but as you can see, there's a lot more going on. Like, we have abilities. This I don't want to say the performance is going to be this level if you're actually playing Counter-Strike and executing a site, but I would dare to say it would be pretty close actually in-game on Counter-Strike. So 110 FPS, again, similar to Counter-Strike. I actually didn't encounter any screen tearing, micro stutters, anything like that. It was actually really smooth. So overall, for the experience, again, I have a 320 hertz monitor. Over HDMI, it won't hit 320, only 300. But yeah, I mean, sure, I might be able to notice it. I've played on extremely high refresh rates for a long time, but for somebody who's, not really used to it, or if you only have a 1440, 120, 144 hertz monitor, this is actually really good. You're getting really close to your refresh rate, and it's smooth. This is going to be a really great experience. So yeah, let's go ahead and hop into the next game, which I think is Apex. All right, here we are on the Apex Legends settings track. 1440p, basically all low settings. We do have models and maybe a couple things here and there that are maybe on medium, but yeah, 1440p. It looks really bad right now in the dropship, but it will get better. I promise. We're not actually going to sit on 60 FPS. But once I decide that I'm actually dropping out of here, you can see almost immediately as we're starting to look at less of the map, we are going up to, we're already at 120, 140. Yeah, FPS is starting to climb here. So we are seeing, like I said, better FPS than the dropship, but where is this actually gonna, stabilize at is kind of our main concern here. So backpack, nothing too crazy, not a big Havoc fan. Flyline's not too great either. It's okay, it's pretty good. I'm just running into a wall. Okay, here we go. So now we're outside. We're looking at we are sitting around 120 average. Looks like it may be dropping a little bit here as we're running around and we're looking at more along the lines of 110 FPS. So, pretty similar to Valorant actually, which is a little bit surprising to me, but overall not too bad. I do actually really like this. On some similar, I would assume to Valorant, it's more on that CPU level of a game. So if it's dropping in Valorant, it'll probably do about the same here. So hopefully around 90 FPS, and again, basically really stable actually. So like I said, no frame skipping, nothing like that. This was a really good gameplay experience, and yeah, we're really actually sitting strong here around 120 FPS. So I think you'll actually have a pretty good time with 6800U and 9070 XT here. We may be getting a little boost from that Thunderbolt 5, but yeah, this is a really good experience, and definitely playable. All right, here we are in Rainbow. We're going to be 1440p, basically all low settings, and then we do have the refresh rate at 144 Hertz. I am going to have a little bit going on here with, picking agents and things like that, waiting for the menu. So let's go ahead and actually skip to where I'm in the game. So yeah, here, we'll just go ahead and skip a few seconds in. And we're looking at 140, 145 FPS on average here. Which is pretty solid. As you can see, I'm just kind of running around testing out that FPS, and yeah, I mean this is a pretty good experience. We're actually hitting the monitor refresh rate since we're set to 144. Sometimes here, so this is pretty good. On Rainbow, especially, I noticed with the capture card, I had no audio, which was a problem for me. I didn't really know what was going on, but it's a pretty good experience. 120, 130. I am just looking at the board on the wall, sure, but yeah, this is pretty solid so far. We see a flash come in there. Basically, instantly gonna run back into the other room here and start looking. Hey, 130 with some stuff going on, flashes going off. We did get a little bit of drop there with the flash. Not seeing anybody yet. Curious what happens once we start seeing shots. 115, 120, not too bad. Definitely still well above playable. Gotta check because I have no audio. Yeah, this is pretty solid here. Big explosion, and we still only sat around 15. Got a kill there. Whiffed a couple shots. And there we go. So 130 average on Rainbows. The best performance, but it's definitely playable. So I think you can get by here on Rainbow Six, which basically takes us to CS2, Valorant, Apex, and R6. All you're going to have a pretty good time on, and that's pretty exciting for that. I mean, a handheld and an eGPU. I think that's pretty portable. That's pretty exciting. Let's go ahead and hop into the Rocket League benchmark. Alright, here we are on Rocket League, 1440p, basically all low settings, high quality textures, high quality shaders. This is, even on a really nice computer, this is all I have on. Bloom, things like that really just get in the way and make it look horrible. So yeah, we have basically all of that off. And man, I have not played games in a while, pretty much since becoming a new dad. So bear with me. I'm definitely a bit rusty here. I have a ton of hours in this game, if you could believe it. This is pretty solid. I mean, I've played countless hours of Rocket League, and yeah, I mean, this is 268 FPS, 270. We're actually sitting really stable here in the 260s, and I reset this as soon as the match started. So if you're playing this on especially 144 hertz monitor, you're not going to be having any issues here. This is especially sometimes hitting that 320 hertz that I have even on my monitor is really nice. Definitely, it's Rocket League. Yeah, you probably could run this game if you plugged a monitor into a toaster, but honestly, pretty solid here. And I, again, like everything else, I don't really have any complaints. If we were getting frame drops, anything like micro stutters, I would be having more issues, maybe even recommending something like this. But, ooh, there it is. I kind of forgot I even did that. Cool. But yeah, I mean, like I said, if I was having micro stutters, I'd have a harder time recommending this. But every game we've tested so far it's been really good. I mean, I'm relatively shocked. Let's go ahead and hop into the next game, which I believe is Trackmania. All right, here we are on Trackmania, and we're gonna be on 1440p. We are on full screen, and yeah, this is like I mentioned at the beginning, kind of more in the rules section. This is a hard game to run, and yeah, we are really feeling it here. You can actually even see it in the recording. I wasn't sure if we were going to be able to, but yeah, this is pretty rough. Obviously, games like this I've played a ton of. Even struggling through the FPS, it looks like I beat my author time here, but yeah, this is not great when you're only, I mean, we're maybe averaging 68, but the micro stutters, the frame times here are really bad. 1% low at 1 FPS is really horrendous. And wow, we're literally skipping, frame skipping there. So yeah, I mean, this game was definitely a struggle. Oh man, that's horrible. Yeah, let's just go ahead and hop into the next game. I don't think I could recommend Trackmania here with this setup. It's just too hard of a game to run, and I'll be honest, 14 or 1080p is not saving us here. Alright, here we are on Marvel Rivals. We're basically on everything low. We do have FSR on Ultra Performance, and then we are set to 1440p. And yeah, I mean, I forget who I pick here. I think Deadpool is who I'll end up going with. But even in the lobby, frames are not that great. I believe we actually end up something similar to this in game. So that's pretty interesting. The menu in the game is somewhat similar, but yeah, we're looking at moving around now. 80 FPS, standing still, 104, 116 at the max. So we're definitely not looking at high FPS, definitely not Rocket League. Again, this is kind of more on the long. With Valorant, it was still playable. You still could definitely get away with that experience. This is the longest recording that I did for any of these benchmarks, and I never play this game. I love Marvel, but I'm just not a big Overwatch style game fan. But yeah, this was the longest recording I did. So if that says anything to you, this is definitely on the playable side. A lot of Marvel Rivals fans might be clowning me. I had no idea how I'm even supposed to be playing this game. But yeah, 91 FPS, 90, 95, 100, 101 on average. This is definitely playable. Again, like I said, longest recording I have of the entire video. So it may not be, actually once this gets posted, but this is the longest benchmark I did. I had a really good time playing Marvel Rivals here. Yes, smooth as butter. We saw a lot of stuttering with Trackmania, but yeah, this felt really good. I had a really good time on this one. So yeah, 95 FPS, a little bit lower than Valorant, you know, a little bit lower than Apex, but this game is definitely a little bit harder to run. So yeah, let's go ahead and hop into the next benchmark. This is great. 92 FPS, Marvel Rivals 1440p. Sure, we're low settings, but yeah, I mean, this looks good. Let's go ahead and hop into Tarkov. All right, here we are in Escape from Tarkov. Don't mind the FPS here in the settings. We're basically all low settings. We do have high quality color on, 1440p low. Yeah, let's go ahead and I think hop into streets is what I'm gonna do. I don't think I'm actually gonna go into customs. Maybe I am, but I don't think so. Yeah, okay, we're on streets here. And this is kind of the benchmark I wanted to do. This is the hardest to run. If you're gonna go into another map, you're is optimized. So yeah, I mean, we're looking at 20 FPS, not great. If you're laying in bed and you somehow get this to work on, you know, like a controller setup with like, you know, remapping, especially if you're playing through Steam even maybe, you could probably get away with doing some scav runs since most of the time you don't actually have to end up fighting PMCs or anything like that. I wasn't getting any screen tearing, any stuttering, you know, anything like that. Just the FPS was so low. If you don't know, maybe that there is. So yeah, this game was it was struggling to say the least. You could scav, like I said, maybe laying in bed if you just want to, you know, get a little extra ruble, but yeah, it's not playable on streets. You may get 40, 50 FPS on this device if you're sitting in, you know, maybe customs. I would be more so hesitant to say that you're going to average around 40, maybe 45, but yeah, I don't know if I would recommend it. Like I said, you could get by on some scavs if you really needing to, but without the eGPU, it's probably going to be less performance than even this, so it may not even be worth trying. Yeah, let me go ahead and wrap this video up with, you know, a little outro, and then yeah, we'll get you guys out of here. All right, I don't really want to waste your time. We're already pretty deep into the video, so I'll try to wrap this up pretty quick. Through the testing, $400 device, give or take a little bit there, and then around a $900, 800, $900 to $1,000 eGPU combo. We did have to buy a power supply, so overall, 1,400, maybe 1,500 ish with taxes. It's a hard sell uh, for me. If you've got a device like this laying around, maybe you have an old Win 4 with a 6800U, and you already have a capable eGPU, it's something to consider. This is definitely going to get you by if you want to do, you know, some general gaming. Performance was great, like especially no issues with stuttering or anything like that. No frame drops outside of really Trackmania and Tarkov. But you know, if you're not playing those games, if you're a more average gamer and you're sitting maybe in Counter-Strike or Valorant, something like that, you're not really gonna struggle too much there. And it was pretty good. But yeah, I do have a couple more videos in the pipeline. We'll try to get that out hopefully pretty soon. So yeah, thank you guys for watching, and I hope to see you in the next one. Again, thank you and peace.